Hello, guys! Did you wait for me? I bet you did. Hey, guys! How's it going? It's me, Yoko from Japan. Welcome back to my channel. So, different background means my husband and I, we moved! I'm so random. We actually moved to another city. So, yeah, that's why. And we got this huge sofa and so on because we got married like almost 2 years ago now, but we never bought like actual furniture and so on. And we kept living in this tiny apartment. Like it's meant for one person, but we kept living with two people, like grown-ups. And finally, we can't even afford it, but somehow we forced ourselves to move to another place, like a really big place. So I'm really happy about this. And the reason why I've been absent for the past week or so is because we were packing. I mean, I was packing. He never helped. But so I was busy with that. And also just like I mean the hunting of this place and so on. We looked at many different real estate buildings, and we were busy. And finally, did he just appear? Yeah, finally we're getting settled here. So yay! So sorry for my delay. I'm still getting used to the life here. Only came here. Like we moved only a couple of days ago. Anyway, that's a huge intro. I could ramble about like how difficult it is to, make a living here in Japan and so on. We are lucky though, in a way that it really sucks that, China spread this virus, but partially thanks to that, because we pay so much tax in Japan, and, it's not, some people may analyze it to like a socialism, socialist, is like it's influenced by socialism, but our society consists of lots of tax money and so on, and which means that in social through how do you say, like when our society is at risk and when we are in this emergency state type of situation, then we get things in return, like we get financial aid and so on. So that kind of worked good for us that we could, we actually did get some aids, from the government and so on. So we could, make it to move here. Anyway, how are you guys here? Let's read your comments. Oh, somebody commented before this started. Thank you. My theory is that the coronavirus is just a stage of the virus. Reality, China wanted everyone to have the virus inside our bodies, so they can finish us off with the actual bioweapon. Yeah, did you guys look up the mystery seeds? I just read about it, but apparently, like ordinary citizens are getting some, this mystery seeds from China. And in Japan, they are confirmed too. And I see that people are getting this like mysterious package filled with seeds from China, and they never ordered it, So it's, from what I read, I saw that reporting like it's happening in Japan and the US, and also somebody said Taiwan, not sure, but I read that like Australia is also checking if they got those things, like what's happening and so on. So that's happening. And that reminds me of Monsanto. Do you remember TPP, the trade pack or whatever? So it was such a threatening thing for Japan, and we didn't want, especially conservative people, didn't want to get on that. So, and one of the things that we kept saying was like, oh, there are agricultural companies like Monsanto. I don't know how to pronounce that, but so we were like we thought that it was threatening, like our like soil might get changed by foreign products and so on. And that just reminded me of that. But yeah, it's a bioterrorism by China, I think, because obviously people didn't order it, right? So my question is, where did that list of people come from? You know, like, is it a shopping, like online shoppers list, or where did that leak? I always question things like that, you know? So some people here started to say like, oh, it's maybe like Amazon, or other people are saying it's the website called Wish. And Wish is such a sketchy website. I don't know if you guys heard of it, but when I was looking for tarot cards, like I wanted to buy some tarot cards, and I was looking up, and it was so cheap on Wish. And I almost considered it, but I was like, no, this smells like something is wrong. You know, how can it be this cheap? Like maybe they're selling personal information. But anyway, let's read more of your comments. So this is Q&A session. So if you have any question or anything you want me to talk about, leave comments. You know, I won't bite, okay? Let's start from the bottom because I want to keep up with you. Identity politics is Marxist garbage. It's interesting because in identity politics is the term that I hear very often from the US, but somehow Japanese conservatives never, or even like political people in general here, we don't use the term identity politics. I think that our perception is lacking here. So I need to see that thing, the identity politics, and also like, you know, big government, small government. Yeah, that is also something that I need to install in our society, like in our discussions about politics. And hey, super chat, Jim, thank you for your super chat. This helps a lot. Like you guys, like some of you give me a super chat, and you have no idea how much that helps me. Somebody wrote about Monsanto. Where did it go? Wait, I saw that. Who said that? Monsanto. I wanted to read. I'm really poor at, you know, this commenting thing. 1、2、3、4。Any thoughts about Trump wanting to ban TikTok in the US? That's a good move, in my opinion. I saw somebody's tweet though, like this person is just a random chick from the US, and not a political person or anything, just an ordinary citizen in the US. And she wrote, I actually retweeted a few hours ago, but she said like, dear Donald Trump, and she wrote like, you know, on a iPhone, she wrote all these sentences about TikTok and how TikTok, she basically made a point like how TikTok, the app, is helping people that are, you know, exhausted or frustrated in the society, and like when they go home they look at TikTok, and you know that brightens up their day and so forth. And I'm like, that is so naive. But Japanese people are actually very, like, they're getting into TikTok, and I really want our government to do something about it, because this is like, our generation is such a like an information war era, or you could say like cyber war era. So we really need to be careful of all these things. But the big difference that I feel, though, on a daily basis is that American conservatives are very alert on all this, like cyber security and so forth. And Japanese conservatives, we care about it too also, but I feel like we are kind of tolerant to kind of authoritarian society in a way that conservative people even wants to kind of manage and just watch people so that we can avoid all these communists, having acting on terrorism and so on. And in Japan, as you know, there are lots of communists still. And I think young people are not as radical, but maybe they are. Like, they're hiding, I feel, that communists here always hide their true feelings. So we are conservative people here in Japan are more like, warned about that rather than the information war stuff, if that makes sense. So it's interesting, that like I watched the movie about Snowden and all the arguments, like the points that the movie brought up was really interesting, And it was funny though. In that movie, there was a part about Japan and how they are looking at our, information and so on. Okay. Sorry, my throat is like, I wanted to drink something, but I hurried from shower. Oh yeah, let's read the comments by Jim because he put super chat. China has used money to influence politicians and leaders in the US. How about Japan? Oh, politicians here are bribed by China. And I don't know why I'm smiling because it's so like obvious, like we have so many pro-China politicians and something just doesn't add up. That, for example, there are, of course, people are like naturally, a lot of people are just pro-China because China is right next to our country and that some people feel close to them and that they like their culture whatsoever, right? Or women are beautiful, whatever. But sometimes what happens in politics is that our politicians here, like national diet members, right? They first had like normal political thoughts, or some could be rather like anti-China, but after one point they become like super pro-China and keep saying all this anti-Japan stuff, and it's just so weird. And all we can think of is that, they're bribed or they have some weakness, grabbed by them, meaning like, maybe it's a honey trap. Yeah, like some women issue and so on, and that China is threatening them and so on, and maybe that's why they have to keep lying, So stuff like that happens. So Chinese money definitely is coming into Japan's politics. Sorry for clearing my throat. What is called the ministry I don't know why it's called in English, but it's like our education kind of ministry. So there is this part of the ministry which checks our textbooks and so on to, see if they pass the test to become our textbooks, right? About whatever textbooks, but especially history. Regarding history, the textbook was getting tested, and one of the people that were charged of the team, I believe, were the spot. It's allegedly, it's not confirmed yet, I don't think, but the person is working for North Korea. And I'm like, how can that happen? Like, was the person North Korean? No, like it can't happen, right? But probably connected to North Korea, And that's how they are affecting our even textbooks. So that's really crazy. But it can be money, but also other things, that lots of problems happen in life, and your opponents or enemies will always come to you for that. So you should always try to live in the right way so that you don't get politically weak and so on. But anyway, I hope that answers. If you have questions, leave in the comment section. I think let's read it. 24 short time. I think U.S. citizens would feel more comfortable pushing. U.S. citizens would feel more comfortable pushing China if Asian countries did it first. But Asian countries will feel more comfortable pushing China if the U.S. did it first. That's an amazing comment. That is so true. We're both ends, America or Western nations and Asian countries, West and East. We are all both of us are waiting for each other to do something about China, pushing China. I mean, punishing. Sorry, I kept reading pushing, but punishing. Yeah, we're waiting for each other. That's a good point. The problem of Japan though right now, I already felt that with North Korean issues, but Japanese people are so attached to America, especially I'm a conservative, so I can only speak for conservative community, but Japanese conservatives love President Trump so much. It's so much that some of us misunderstand that, our administration is actually Trump administration. So what happens is that, now Trump administration is showing all this really kind of hawkish, really strong stance against China, right? And Japanese conservatives see that, and we feel oh, US finally, Trump administration is going to go into war against China, and that's how we feel. And it's the minority among conservatives like my husband and I or my friends that point out that no, Trump administration will not go into war against China. Of course, there are lots of tactics going on, right? Trade war and so on going on. But that's the methods that the administration will be using, in my opinion. That's how I see that. Rather, Trump administration is supported by those who want the U.S. to focus on domestic politics and so on, instead of going into interfering in the world and so on, right? But Japanese people are so we can only see the world based on our measurements, how the scale that we use to look at our country is applied onto other things also. So when we look at the US, this is something I talked about in my previous video, but about when I made a video about Marco Rubio, I talked about this. But Japanese people, we conservatives inside of Japanese society, if you are pro-China, you're leftist, and if you are anti-China, you're conservative. So that's how simply put it is. It is how it is. So when we look at Trump administration being against China, we assume oh, that's good, right? They're conservative, and also they will, because they have the military and everything, they will go into war. And oh man, so I'm trying to tell people that's not you have to analyze the picture better. Anyway, I talk too much. Let's read. Paul Garcia, is protests alone can make the government here expel the Chinese Communist branded regime. Okay, the English is too difficult. Why? Spell the gentleman. Man, I don't understand that English. Sorry. My English rebel is not good enough. Weeb says, I heard Samsung is pulling a major factory out of China. Really? It surprises me since President Moon seems very leftist. I agree. That's interesting. Yeah, Samsung, Japanese conservatives are not fond of South Korea because we have, we have territorial dispute, and also historical disputes with South Korea. So Japanese conservatives tend to criticize South Korea massively, like I used to when I first, got interested in politics. Like I was so, caught up with the political discussions like that. But, and what I heard is that in order to make like Samsung products, you actually need Japanese parts to make the products. So one of the like a commentator, like opinion leader here was saying like, oh, Japan should, stop exporting our parts to South Korea so that Samsung can't exist anymore. And that just reminded me of that story. President Brand B says, President Moon is extremely left-leaning because he's a socialist. Yes, isn't he rather communist? Hey, husband. Why? He says I can't ask him questions, but I believe Moon is a communist brother. Yeah, he's a determined communist, and I believe I don't exactly know his background, but what I know is that he has the background, like historically, like he was engaged in all these political activities and so on. Oh, NTN wrote Venona Project. Yeah, that thing, Venona Project, like the paper is really very widely known here in Japan because it was actually, I would say one or two people read the whole thing, or like they checked and analyzed, like because they are professors and experts and super smart, and they checked all the documents. But basically right now though, this one expert here is he's like a specialist about Venona documents, and he is writing books about what communists were doing before and after, before and during the World War II and so on. Like it's about communism, right? And but he is actually, I believe that he actually heard everything about it from American conservatives. So like what we hear in Japan is actually coming from the US, so that's good. I'm not the only one, that who is really pro America, and I'm reaching out to you guys. But and of course, I care about all the other people in other countries as well. But I have this special bond with the US, and I'm not the only one. That people like myself, there are lots of people like myself in Japan. So. And I think it's really good that we are uniting now. As I said, we're in this information war generation. So, yeah. Oh, speaking of, Rambi was talking about socialists don't like each other, but they're still evil. That's very interesting because I don't know about socialist versus socialist, but what I know is that in Japan, socialists are like socialists and communists team up for elections to, give, like both of them want to win, so they help each other sometimes. But I hear that socialists and communists are actually not in a, they're not really friends with each other, like politically. So I'm like, I want to dig, like dig that point. Like I'm like, hey, you. Like, you guys need to fight. Lots of maneuvers can happen. Okay. Okay, let's read your comments. Francis asks, how many books have you written and what topics have you written about? I'm very curious. I actually read only one book, and it was based on all the videos that I put out back in the day. My book was published in 2014, and I actually didn't want to publish a book because, unlike the internet, you don't have a control of the information that you put in the book, and I knew at the time that I didn't know enough to, the points that I was making and everything, it was all correct and everything, but I knew that I was not very mature because I was very young, like in the late 20s, and I don't know, I just felt like I saw all these amazing people with lots of knowledge, and they have studied, and also they experience all these political things, and they know a lot. But I was just so random. I'm so random chick, who just got interested in politics, and I picked everything from online, meaning that everybody can do the same. But I made videos about all politics in Japanese first, right? So I was talking about politics in Japanese. Like, my interest at first was that Japan is in such a severe place politically, because I thought back in the day that Japan was not insisting our side enough. That, as I said, we have territorial and historical disputes against, with South Korea, and we have that with China also. And regarding World War II, a lot of misconceptions are spread in the world, and the Japanese government does nothing about it. Our foreign ministry, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they are really poor. Like, they don't know how to work things out, or they don't even it's rather that they misunderstand what politics is. They believe that diplomacy is just interacting with other countries and be friends with them. Politics is just like business, right? Like, there are friends and enemies, but basically there are things that you want to achieve, and you talk to people based on that. But Japan doesn't have that. So my interest at first, I got interested in politics in 2012, so almost 8 years ago. But so in the first, I would say, to 2015, 14 or 15, yes. My interest was that, Japan has to, insist our opinions. So I kept doing all these things. Like, I was taking up all this propaganda by China or South Korea, and I was trying to refute them all. And I realized that that's not how it works. That's their propaganda. So you have to, in order to win this war, we need to, it's not the counter, but we need to be proactive, and we need to attack them first. And all this war tactic, I learned all these things, and a large portion of that was the encounter. I encountered my husband along the way, and he taught me a lot about how to fight internationally. So my interest changed. So that's the only book I wrote. And I don't really want to, people really want to write books for some reason, but I am not a book person. I should study. I love books, but I feel like my role politically, I think, is something like this, to unite and connect with you guys and make sure that we have all this information, but we need to tell each other about it so that we can actually utilize all these things, that amazing things we have and so on. So that's something. But along the way, though, I wrote a lot of articles, like online and also magazines. I thought about, trying to write more for this conservative magazine called Seidon. Seidon is the conservative magazine, the best conservative magazine here in Japan. And the magazine is owned by Sankei Shimbun. Sankei Shimbun, I have it here. This is today's Sankei Shimbun. Sankei Shimbun. So, so this company, such a small company though now, and I really hope this company lasts. But like newspaper industry in general, like newspaper industry is shrinking in general. Even like liberal media is suffering. So that's due to that too. But anyway, so also they have this English outlet called Japan Forward. And Japan Forward is the English version of their stuff, even though the company denies, like, no, we are independent company. They often say that. But anyway, I talk too much. I hope that I hope I answered your question. Do you know? Waylon asks, do you know if Japanese people within Japan understand the difference between American posterity, actual Americans, and those of European descent who are not posterity, Dutch, Swedish, etc.? Oh, I don't even know. So probably not. Yeah, I still don't know the I still don't know the beginning of America very well, to be honest. Yeah, and my friend Michael Young, like US veteran guy that I talked to, you guys have seen it on my channel too, but he talks about Scottish American also. And I'm like, okay, I get that kind, but I don't know the whole history about it. So, man, how do I learn though about those things? Because I think the reason why I don't know or any others don't know generally is probably because we don't hear about it, So, maybe I should dig into that. Yay, super chat, Bill Biz. Thank you. So, Yoko, greeting from Seattle. Oh, when I read Seattle, I'm like Grey's Anatomy. Anyway, it seems like Japanese society is so much more orderly than ours. Even though Seattle is very tech-oriented, yes, it is currently incredibly chaotic, especially with the protests. Oh, I think it's because it's a big city, though, right? That it's chaotic. Yeah, so it's like liberal. I feel like liberal people go to big cities often, and like even Tokyo, it's unsteady. Like lots of leftists there, and they hold lots of protests and so on, especially where in front of National Diet Building and so on. But yeah, Seattle, even Seattle. Seattle, そっか。There was autonomous zone in Seattle, right? Right. And then Portland also. Yeah, I don't know why. Like, I really want to see the background of, somebody. I mean, there must be lots of spies from our side, but I'm really curious of like how things take place, because obviously there are agitators, like political activity wise. So I'm curious about that. But Seattle, I wanna visit. Like Seattle has this like tall building, right? I want to see that in person. Jones or Jones, but I can't read. Sorry. Seattle, a leftist paradise. Interesting. Paradise. I've played that before. All of our cities are filled with leftists. Oh no. Seattle, Francis says, Seattle is one of the most liberal places in the US. Antifa headquarters is in Seattle. Portland is very far left. Interesting. Why does that happen? Like geographically or like historically? Space. Yeah, we had a hunch like it might be like Chicago, right? Because it's like a very like Obama's place, and also lots of, I don't know, it's not, the crime rate is high and so on. Yeah. Geographically, interesting. Man, I wish we were interacting in like real life so that I could ask you lots of questions. I should probably ask you on Twitter. American cities are liberal, suburbs and rural areas are conservative. Yeah, that's what I think. Actually, I think it's the same here, that cities tend to be like liberal. And I mean, it's more like the more you go to countryside, people are conservative, you know? And so if you go to countryside, everybody supports LDP in Japan, like a Liberal Democratic Party, which is Abe's party. The party is not even conservative, but it's the most, pretty much conservative here in Japan. So. Texas is one of the more conservative states in the USA. Most people there own a gun. Yeah, we know that. Like, so as I said, this expert that I mentioned earlier, who is connected to the US, he wrote about the spirit of Texas people, like cowboy spirit, and he compared cowboy spirit with like Japanese samurai kind of spirit, you know, that it's very similar. Like we want to protect our own land by ourselves and we have weapons and so on. But and so we have the impression that Texas is such a conservative state, you know, even the politicians there are conservative. But we hear that the coming election is Texas might, like conservatives might lose in Texas. That's what we hear. So we're curious of, you know, what's going on in Texas. Like what we hear is that there are lots of immigrants coming from Mexico to Texas, and that's how politically it's shifting. What do you guys think? 코멘トがある? Alex Jones? Somebody wrote about Alex Jones. Wait. Yeah, let's, I'm sorry, Kobayashi-san, but I'm gonna give you a timeout because you're not interacting. Okay. Start a Zoom meeting. Good idea. Man, when I interact in English though, my English isn't like strong enough. So like in meetings and so on, I really have a tough time. Okay. Oh, what do you think of Alex Jones? Francis asks. I used to watch Alex Jones a lot on YouTube. He actually helped me grasp the big picture about the US presidential election back in 2016. So like he's so into his world, like, and it's like he's like shouting, and that actually that was very helpful for me because we actually have a guy like him here in Japan. I'm not gonna mention the channel name because I don't want to get into trouble, but there's this kind of big guy, old guy, and he talks just like Alex Jones, and his the arguments that he makes is kind of like I just those two guys match in my head. But so Alex Jones was somebody that I kind of felt like my type of person, but at the same time he was really like, I got the impression like he might be very extreme, and I couldn't tell the conspiracy theory part that he was accused of. Like I was not closely following him, so like I just looked at him as the like InfoWars, right? His platform was his own, so I just look at the platform as his opinion and his takes. So even though I really counted on that platform to get ideas, I was not looking at that as a media. So yeah, that's what I think, I guess. Any other questions? For 40 minutes. I'm gonna go in 20 minutes. Okay. Let's read your comment. Unfortunately, Dallas is democratic run because of the young folks. Yeah, why do young people fall into liberalism or even socialism? Oh yeah, reminds me of AOC, Ocasio-Cortez. So I don't like AOC because, I mean, like she looks like a nice person and all. Like politics aside, AOC is probably like a fun person to be with. Like that's the vibe that I get from her. But but she's like a little gone, right? So and the reason why I understand AOC well, like politically, is because we have there is somebody just like her here in Japan, and he was it's a guy, right? But I think he's in the 40s or so, very young, and he used to be a comedian and an actor, and he was not successful being an actor anymore, so he became a National Diet member, and he lost the last time, so he's not a politician anymore, like at this moment. But I know that he is trying to, like, he's looking at his political game in the long run. But anyway, so he's a stupid guy. I'm not gonna lie, right? Like just an actor. He's really good at acting, and so he's really like he's a fast reader. Also, like he reads really fast, right? And he is also he does performances inside of National Diet also because like he knows that cameras will be catching his performance and that he can get on TV and so forth. So he knows how to use the media, and he knows how to grab the attention from like young people, and he knows how to get support from socially vulnerable people. And so, but truthfully though, he is actually supported by really, really like radical left type of people, like terrorist type. You know, back in the day, like in the 70s or so, these radical left here, those radical left were really, really violent and killing people and so on, killing even cops. So, and this actor is supported, a former actor is supported by all this radical left, right? But he is a former actor and looks nice, and his performance is great. So young people, or just, you know, naive people are, you know, deceived by his performance. And so basically the same as AOC, that it's not him who can think about all these political things, but he's got brains. That his team, like it's obvious that they are working in a team, and his teammates are very, very like politically polished, that trained, and yeah. So we have people like that. So I understand that side very well. And young people always fall into the fashion of politics. So that's what sucks about it. I feel like people don't know what politics is really. Like I whatever I think about, I realize like people don't know what politics is. Like, you know, I can't explain more than that, but Texas is turning blue. Veteran Connection says Texas is turning blue because everyone from California is moving to Texas. Oh, I heard that too. Right. That's interesting. Are they running away from protests, like riots and so on? It's funny though, sometimes I see on Twitter feed that, like, you know, some random guy criticizing all this anti-protest people, you know, and like people often say like, oh, it's our right to protest, and you know, in this generation, we should abolish racism and so forth. Like they say all these nice things to support BLMs and so forth. But when their house is on fire, like sometimes it can be literally on fire, I guess. But when they are affected by the protests, no, I shouldn't say protests. What I mean is riots. When they're attacked by all this rioters, then they wake up and realize that, you know, like they can't support BLM anymore. So that's really interesting. Like it clearly shows that they didn't think it through, right? They just thought like, oh, that looks nice, just like fashion. Oh, that shirt looks nice. I should wear that so that I can seem cool and, you know, nice in this society. And they wear that and then realize that that's the way to hell. Ebitsuka Trio, they are running from the policies they voted for. They're running from the policy they voted for and high taxes due to those policies. That's funny. Isn't it interesting? They can't, like, oh, you know, one thing about me is that I love America so much, but I love Japan so much. And like, I'm a proud Japanese. So even though I love America so much, I want to keep living here, right? And not only that, I love my hometown so much, like Fukuoka Prefecture. I love it here so much. And I'm so proud to be born and raised here all my life. So, I mean, I briefly lived in Osaka Prefecture. I didn't like it because I'm too proud to be, you know, not only Japanese, but Fukuoka person. So I can't even live here. It sucks to go on a trip also. I like traveling, but it's not only of that. Like, I like my own place. I like to be home. And I think the large part of that is me being a female also. But so it's crazy to think that just because, you know, you want to change your city for the better and you vote for something and you don't like it and you just leave, like, wow, like I can't understand. Fukuoka is the best. Thank you. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, Jones, or is it Joan? I'm gonna read it as Jones. Sorry if it's wrong. I lived in Fukuoka. Oh, I thought it was great. Yeah, Fukuoka is actually like it's like high ranked in the list of all the like good cities to live in the world. Like our prefecture comes up really on a high place, so it's good. It's a compact city, so it's a there are really city place and suburb area, countryside even, where the nature is great, and we have the ocean, like I mean the beach, beaches there, and parks, lots of parks and historical things and so forth, and yeah. Huh? I see. Lots of. I found Osaka people to be very direct. Yeah, you're right. Osaka people are funny and cool, but you don't. I don't know. Me coming from Fukuoka, I couldn't stand them every day. Like they're always joking, and they're really like they are so expressive, too open. Like it's like you get I feel like verbally attacked, with Osaka people. But yay, super chat, Max, resist. What is Japan's views of LGBTQP? What's QP? Wow. So LGBTQP community people. Japan's view, it's so hard to summarize, I think. Generally speaking, today, or even back in the day, like the beginning of our country, we've been very tolerant about all this like gay type of people, that like socially, like there have been all this LGBT type of people, and we've been fine with that. And on TV, there are lots of LGBT type of people also, like it's a character, as they say. And so you might think like, looking at Japan, you might think like, oh, that's like really liberal, biased by liberalism. But it's not like liberalism. It's just that Japanese people, like our culture is very tolerant. And that's the conservatism here. So that might be a little tricky. But so culturally, we don't really discriminate those people. But at the same time, because we are so tolerant, at the same time, they get lots of exposure, like treated equally. And so what happens is that, especially I think like older generations don't like gay guys and so on, and that they think like they openly sometimes criticize. So that's something I hear like in person, but like as a country, I think we are tolerant. Yeah, but as for marriage, that's a total different story. That our Japan is Japan because of our marriage system, that, and especially our emperor is the same bloodline from the beginning of our country. There's this emperor today, right? But it's all the same bloodline since the beginning. Like it's a male dominant, and yeah. Whew. Please don't talk about BLM anymore. You don't understand the history of systematic racism. The level of your ignorance towards BLM, you mean, is not joke. Don't ever talk about it. I will keep talking about it, dude. It's funny, like people always, it's like, the fact that somebody has to make a comment like that means that the person is threatened by me. But I'm only influential to my audience or those who, have the similar ideas as me. Sometimes leftists do listen to me, like moderate people, but like the idea of like silencing others, it's just wrong as a human, in my opinion. I don't care if leftists believe in whatever the crap they believe in. Like, I let them be who they are. And that's something I learned along the way of all these political activities, that like, it's no, you can't be angry about people having their opinions. You can judge others all you want, but what matters is what you do for the country, for your country, or for your society. And like, it's like, you can't get rid of other people's human rights, so you just have to try and, I don't know. Sunny is a Marxist. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, you should focus your time and energy on what you care about instead of what you don't like. Like, your life will be so much different. Yoko-san, please interview Dr. Shiva Yadurai. Dr. Shiba. Who is Dr. Shiba? Shiva. I read Shiba because my dog is Shiba Inu. Yeah, I should do all these collaborations too, man. Freedom of speech, yes. See, Sunny is a typical like, I don't usually react to people, but this is a good example, so I want to explain to you guys. But I get all these comments often from all these foreigners, right? But they don't understand that I'm a Japanese citizen living in Japan. And what that means is that, and I am talking about America, yes, and American issues are for American people, yes, but we live in this international society. And what happens is that, see, this person is saying like, oh, you don't understand our history, blah, blah, blah. But what's really happening is that this person doesn't understand Japan. Japanese people have our own views, and we insist our opinions based on the things that we want to achieve. And we have reasons to talk about politics in the way that we do. And it's not about understanding and whatsoever. Understanding, of course, is the base of all these political activities or politics in general. However, this is politics, and that's why we have reasons to talk about and insist what we believe in and so on. And it's about Japan. Like, us talking about American issues, it's not actually about America, but we're speaking for our own. It's not like I'm a nice person and I want to contribute to America. There is a level, like, I do want to contribute to America and American society and so forth, because I love America so much. But before that, I'm Japanese, a proud patriot here. And I am doing all these things for my country, believe it or not. So what happens every time I look at comments like that, I'm like, dude, you don't understand Japan. That's all what it is. So it's really sad that there are people like you guys that listen to me and are interested in what we think, but there are others like they can't even take it. That's really interesting. Anyway, let's read. Oh man, I need to go in a minute. The left demands you to be tolerant of them, but not them of you. Hypocrites. Yeah, I agree. It's
8月になったからさ、党大会があるよね、今月末に。
Oh, there will be a convention? Is it called a convention? it's August, and you guys have this like a party thing, Republican Party, or like a election thing, right? What's gonna happen? Are they gonna actually get together in person? Oh, North Carolina happening. Yeah, convention. Yeah. Did I say the word right earlier? Yeah. That's the word I was looking for. At the end of August, you guys will have that. I'm excited. This Japanese guy, though, this Japanese conservative person, kind of young, is saying that President Trump is in danger, like election-wise. Do you think that, like he was talking about this person in power, like financially, somebody kind of, I think the person withdrew from Trump, and that affected the campaign and so on. So like lots of analysis like that is happening here in Japan, and some conservatives are pointing out, like, we have to be ready for all kinds of scenarios. I don't want to think about it, but that's something. I mean, of course, we're another country, so we have to be always be prepared for any sort of scenario, which I don't want, but that's just common sense, right? So no all lies. That's good news. The ballot is rigged for Biden. Interesting. Joe Biden's brain. Same as 2016. Yeah, that's what I thought. Like all this, information like Biden is leading. Like I thought that all this information like that is biased, and that just it's not information, it's propaganda. Just like in 2016, that was my hunch. But people were like, some conservatives are saying like, oh, it's not based on media polls, it's based on this and that. And I was like, really? I kind of got like, scared. Yeah. It's anyway, this Sunny person is interesting. That he or she is here, but let's read more. Yeah, the media. The reason why I don't trust our media, your media, is because I don't trust our media, and I know what goes behind the scenes. Being engaged in political activities, I know how media people think and what they're trying to do with their media. So, yeah. Can gaijin who are Japanese citizens vote in Japan? No. Even not. 帰化してもできない? If you are naturalized, then you can. But if not, if your nationality is from somewhere else, you cannot vote here. Oh, love your work, Yoko. Keep up the great work. Thank you. Oh, T-Bone. Thank you. Yoko, I went to the biggest Trump vote party today in St. Augustine, Florida. Thousands of people, so much fun. Check some videos out later. KJGA. Oh, there was a big event today? I didn't know that. As I was moving, to another city, which is here, I've been really absent from all this information online, So, interesting. Oh, I need to go, guys. Could you recommend a book on Japanese history or politics in English? Whoa, we don't have English books, but what but we can, what I can suggest is Japan Forward, the online media platform. Japan Forward and 何の本？about history. There's a book which has both Japanese and English, and it's like a summarized version of textbook, basically. So, yeah, I will follow me on Twitter at Random Yoko, and I will write that link. It's the book is somewhere in our pile of boxes. Yes, but there's a book about Japanese history and politics in English and Japanese, so it can be like a language studies as well. So I will link that on Twitter. So follow me on Random Yoko. No, follow me on Twitter at Random Yoko. Oh, super chat. The VBGC, Venice Beach Dumb Club. Thank you for your super chat. I'm so sorry when I read people's names. I can't read. 12 a.m. in America. Oh my gosh, you gotta go to bed, right? So America is divided. Hey, it's been going on since before Trump. So I have been studying Japanese history since I was 7. Whoa! And you're 27 now? Whoa, 2 decades. That's like me studying English. I've been studying American English since 15, right? And I am almost 35 years old now. I'm getting old, man. So I've been studying for 20 years as well, like English. And this is the best I can get. And it sucks, like, I can hear, my hearing is good. But when I speak and watch my videos later, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so like, I have this weird accent. And I want to get rid of it, but I don't know how to do that. So, but my English is getting better, I think. You look 25? Thank you. I'm like, every time somebody compliment, I'm like, yeah, say that more, Anyway. Yeah. It's okay to disagree, agree to disagree. Just don't try to, change people's opinions. It's like, you gotta learn, like, oh, that's how you think? Bleh. End of story. Anyway, yeah, I gotta go, man. This has been fun. You also sing in Japanese too? Yeah, karaoke. I can't. Our karaoke places are closed, I believe. So I wanna sing too. All I can sing is like Avril Lavigne, or sometimes Slipknot. Oh, super chat. Thank you. Venice Beach Dub Club. I've lived in Japan for 20 years and I'm almost 22 now, but I really love Japan. Oh, huh? Wait, what? You've lived here for 20 years and you've been here since 2? Wow. And people are young here in this community, or I wonder if it's like, it has a wide range. I don't know how honest you are with, the information you gave for YouTube, but I can check the analytics. So I will see how old you guys are. Oh, VBDC. I want to interview you on IG, Instagram. I have a talk show. Oh, invite me. Yeah, I've been kind of, I haven't been replying to people. Like somebody even offered me to get on another show, and like all these offers are coming, but the past 1 week or 2 weeks, I've been really busy and I haven't been replying. But yeah, just if you want to interview me or whatever, whatever, that's a kind of rude way to put it. If you want to interview me or if it's about like media exposure and so on, then message me through my website, randomyoko.com. Yeah. Oh, T-Bone! Trump boat parties is when you and husband visit in 2021. Oh, cool. Yoko always making Japan great. I hope so. Because the reason why I do this, like interacting with you guys, is because, looking at the history of World War II, communists were great at their propaganda, but us, you and I, the countries of us, our side didn't do well, and we kept being deceived by communists. And I don't want to repeat the same history again, So this time, it's us who are sharing all this information and uniting and standing firmly with each other so that we can keep against those enemies. So, okay, thank you guys. I'm gonna go now, even though I don't want to, but same time next week, I'll come back online, okay? And I will try to make videos, but it depends on how much I can deal with all these boxes from moving. Yeah, but that's good though that the internet is working. I was really worried about the internet. It's not the real one. It's the Wi-Fi that I rented. And we have weird Wi-Fi system in Japan that like you can't use over 10 gigabytes in 3 days. In 3 days, you can go beyond 10 gigabytes. But that's for my contract in particular, it's only at night time. So I hope this is not counting. But anyway, this time it works. Yay, T-Bone! Stay Japanese, build another Yoko empire. I'll stay Japanese and build another Yoko empire. Thank you. I have to contribute a lot more. But yeah, keep Japan great again. I should say that more. YMAX, yes. How did you know? Anyway, yeah, lots of services, by the way, are like far away. So, T-Bone, don't forget, check out Trump Boat Party, Florida. Okay, I'm going to note it right after this. Thank you, guys. I wanted to talk more, but yeah. Follow me on Twitter at Random Yoko, and we will keep interacting, okay? So, for the majority of you, have a good night, okay? I'm going to go eat lunch because we are really hungry. 1:01. So, thank you guys for watching. I'm going to go now for real. So, thank you, and have a great night or day, and I will talk to you soon. So, next week, this time, please check out again, and we will meet again. Sounds like 100, the TV show. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Bye!